November 17th, 2024. Deep in the middle of the Baltic Sea, there's a cable carrying an important message. It's from a night shift nurse in Finland consulting with doctors about a critical patient. Millions of messages like these race around the ocean floor every single second. It seems like any other evening. However, tonight is different, because one of those steel cables controlling the internet from 5,000 feet below the surface is about to be cut in half. And in an instant, thousands lose their connection. But here's the thing. This wasn't an accident. A Chinese cargo ship showed up nearby just minutes before, destroying 2 cables that power most of Europe's internet. The boat is immediately surrounded by NATO warships. They stare at the captain, but he simply gives them a taunting wave across the water. He knows the police can't arrest anyone because the Chinese government steps in, calling it an accident. No one believes them, and yet there's nothing the authorities can do. And the scariest part, this wasn't even a real attack. It was all just practice for an unwinnable war already starting deep beneath the water. A Swedish journalist named Anna Sundin is deep in the middle of her daily morning routine, sipping on some strong coffee as she finishes a home workout when her phone rings. She looks down and sees a Finnish military number from an old friend that she hasn't spoken with in the 4 years since she's left the Navy.
Anna, it's Timo. Are you at your computer?
Timo Vetsa. They served together on a joint NATO exercise a few years back. Terrible poker player, but a good officer and an even better man.
Yeah, I'm here. What's...
Pull up marine traffic. Right now. Search for Yi Peng 3.
Marine traffic? Timo, I cover finance now, not shipping.
Trust me, Anna. Just do it.
She types it in, and a red dot appears on her screen. It's of a Chinese cargo ship sitting oddly still in the middle of international waters between Denmark and Sweden.
Okay, I see a ship stop just outside the port of Copenhagen. So what?
So, 2 hours ago, that ship destroyed 2 key internet cables. The one connecting Finland to Germany, and another running from Sweden to Lithuania. They were hundreds of miles apart.
The last sentence makes the hairs on Anna's neck stand up straight, as her military training immediately starts to kick in. She realizes something is wrong.
Ships don't cut cables, Timo. I mean, what are the odds?
I know, which is why I called. Now, check this out. Look where it came from.
She clicks through and sees Ustlaga. Her stomach immediately drops. She realizes that this Chinese ship was leaving one of Russia's most sensitive military ports.
This is weird. After leaving Ustlaga, they spent days moving between anchorages, just waiting around.
Keep watching. It gets worse.
As the Yiping 3 continues across the Baltic, Anna tracks it crossing several cables without running into any problems.
Normal speed over the first few cables with no problems. Wait, what happened right there?
That's where they hit the first cable. Did you notice the speed during the impact?
She zooms in again. The ship was moving at around 10 knots at the start of its trip. But then, just before it crosses the first cable, its speed suddenly drops by 50%.
Why are they slowing down so much here? They had other chances to hit the cables earlier.
We're not quite sure. There appears to be easier spots during their trip to make sure they hit their target, if it was on purpose.
Anna keeps watching the ship making its way through the water, until suddenly it vanishes from the screen shortly after hitting the first cable, as if it went into stealth mode.
They went dark and turned off their AIS device.
For 7 hours, right between the 2 strikes.
So they hit the first cable, went dark, then sliced the second one hundreds of miles away. But why?
As the red dot finally reappears, it's still crawling at around half speed over the second cable location.
Timo, that's an anchor drag. A deliberate anchor drag.
There's more. Look what they do after the second strike.
Anna watches the ship come to a complete stop shortly after slicing the second cable.
Why are they just sitting there for hours? What are they waiting for?
That's still a mystery to us. just idle in the middle of a major shipping route. That would be like stopping your car on a busy highway. You don't do it for no reason.
Anna stares at her screen in disbelief.
Timo, why are you calling me? You've got NATO intelligence for this.
Because NATO can't say what needs to be said. And because of Emma.
Anna grips her phone tighter.
What does my little sister have to do with this?
She's still on the Bothnia Express, right? Working on its navigation systems?
So what?
So, October of 2023, another Chinese cargo ship named the New Polar Bear accidentally cut our cables. Emma's ship was trying to dock in a nearby port when all the systems crashed.
They sat trapped offshore for 6 hours because port control couldn't process arrivals.
Anna remembers that day. Emma had texted her about some IT glitch at the port. She made it sound like it was nothing.
She never told me it was from a cable cut.
She probably didn't know. But Anna, if someone can shut down ports and cities whenever they want, what do you think happens to submarines that can't dock due to chaos?
Send me everything you have.
Be careful. If they're bold enough to do this while the world is watching,
Then someone needs to start watching back. Listen, Timo. You know that I'm the reason Emma even joined the Navy in the first place. She followed in my footsteps.
I understand.
Good. Then send me what info you have and let me get the work. That's what you called me for, right?
She hangs up, opens a new document on her computer, and types.
The Baltic Sea has become a battlefield, and only one side knows we're at war.
Anna hasn't had a good night's sleep in weeks. It's been 3 months since Timo told her about the Yiping 3's cable-cutting accident, and she can't let it go. She pushes empty coffee cups aside to pin another incident.
When was the last time I had something real to eat?
She wonders to herself as her fingers start tracing across the map.
For the last 20 years, there were almost 0 cable incidents in these areas. Then 2023 hits and boom! 11 incidents in Taiwan and another 10 in the Baltic.
In total, she uncovers nearly 50 similar scenarios around the world in the last year alone. That's a new cable-cutting incident every 8 days. Anna's phone starts buzzing.
Hey sis, you missed our FaceTime yesterday. Are you still digging into the cable story?
Anna had forgotten their weekly video call every Sunday since Emma got shipped off to work in the Baltic.
Sorry, lost track of time.
She goes back to staring at the tracking data for each incident on her screen, while she mutters the ship's names to herself.
New Polar Bear, Changxin 39 Yiping 3. It's always the same pattern. They slow down just before they cross the cable, then stop dead in the water a few hours later, sitting there waiting like they're fishing. They must be pulling something out of the water.
She scans the incident reports, noticing that most of the ships still had their anchors while detained by the police. But New Polar Bears appeared to have broken off after dragging it hundreds of miles through the water.
Dragging an anchor that long is like driving for hours with your parking brake on. No captain would fail to notice that. The ship would be screaming.
She realizes these cable-cutting incidents are all like this. Brutal anchor drags leaving scars on the ocean floor. But when she focuses on just the activity around the Taiwan Strait, something different emerges.
Clean cuts, no drag marks. It's almost surgical.
She pushes the Baltic incident reports aside for now, focusing on the cluster around Taiwan. Nearly 30 incidents since 2018, but they're accelerating dramatically. Then she finds it. The Matsu Island report, 14,000 people who went 50 days without the internet. Anna reads through the accounts from residents on the island as she sinks into her chair. Stories about families who couldn't reach each other, of businesses that lost half their income overnight and ran out of cash, and of medical supplies that couldn't be ordered.
50 days. They knocked out an entire island offline for 50 days, and nobody could stop them.
Then she pulls up an investigative report from February 2025, where a Chinese ship named the Hong Tai 58 makes the situation extremely obvious. Anna can clearly see the boat making zigzag patterns back and forth over the cables multiple times.
You don't just zigzag by accident. You do it when you're hunting.
She takes a step back and zooms out to look at the entire map again. Reports of dozens of Chinese commercial ships causing cable damage all around Taiwan in the last 2 years. Same island China desperately wants to get control of.
Someone trained them for this. Someone gave them the tools to create this level of destruction.
She starts recording.
The pattern is clear. These are field tests. Someone's been practicing. They must be perfecting a weapon. But what kind of weapon?
It's 10 p.m. in the back of Stockholm's University Library, and Anna's the only person in the building not studying for a college final. Her reflection glows in a dimly lit computer screen like she's staring at a ghost in the mirror as she types how to destroy underground cables into a search bar. She's been thinking about this question all night long while looking at repair crew reports and shipping records. She can't understand why the Baltic incidents look so different from the Taiwan ones.
Maybe they're using completely different tools.
She starts pulling up technical databases while Googling submarine cable cutter equipment. But after not finding much that would be useful, she starts to think like an engineer would.
If you wanted to create a dangerous tool that could destroy underwater cables, you'd need specialized equipment. And in order to do that, you have to invent it.
And as soon as she types in submarine cable cutting into a global patent database, she hits exactly what she was looking for. Finding multiple results, her hand freezes on one from Lishui University in 2020.
Oh my god. They literally named their invention after their sabotage plans.
As she reads through the patent description and sees the technical drawings firsthand, everything becomes crystal clear. The device works like a deadly fishhook, 2 anchor arms spread wide as it drags along the bottom of the water. And when they hit a cable, the guide funnels it straight into the cutting blades, slicing through anything in its path.
That's why they stop. They're retrieving their weapon, checking for copper to make sure they got it. And once they confirm the kill, it's mission complete.
Anna pulls up a map. Lishui University sits just 80 miles away from Taiwan.
They patented a weapon to commit acts of war, and the world simply looked on and gave it a number.
But something bothers her even more. This device would tear cables apart, leaving heavy drag marks. It explains the activity in the Baltic perfectly, but not Taiwan. So she dives in even deeper and searches for more recent papers, academic databases, naval engineering journals, even using a VPN to sneak into China's internet. And it's there that finally she finds it, on a Chinese database where she sees an engineering paper from China's Ship Scientific Research Center titled Design of an Electric Cutting Device for Deep Sea Cables.
The CSSRC. That's a Chinese military lab.
The timeline immediately tells a concerning story, because what started as a university patent for mechanical cutting in 2020 has now become a military lab experiment for electric cable cutting just 4 years later.
This must be why Taiwan's cuts show little signs of dragging or tearing.
Anna begins pulling the arrest record from the Taiwan cable cutting incidents, and it's there that she finds more info on the Hongtai 58 case, where the captain was reportedly sentenced to 3 years in prison for blatant zigzagging across cable lines, a rare conviction for cable cutting activity.
This captain got sloppy and made it too obvious. His stupidity is what got him locked up. But the ship? It's still running, with the new captain sailing the same routes.
She knows all of these sailors are just disposable pawns, all while the real players stay hidden in the shadows, ready to hire another piece should one get taken off the board. Anna gets ready to leave and grabs her phone to text Emma again, but then she stops.
What would I even tell her? Watch out for Chinese research vessels with advanced cable cutters. She would think I've lost my mind.
She heads for the exit with a laptop bag full of evidence, but something keeps bothering her as she walks out the door.
The weapons exist and they're not even hiding it. They want us to know that they're doing this. The question is, why? Why publish your weapon designs for the entire world to see?
Anna sits in a 24-hour cafe near her apartment, surrounded by empty espresso cups. It's just before midnight, and the only other customers are taxi drivers grabbing coffee between their rides. She's been staring at maps for hours, and something keeps bothering her. A detail that never quite made sense from the very beginning.
Why are Chinese ships operating in Russia's territory to cut cables in the Baltic? What's the connection?
Her burner phone rings. It's one of only 3 people that have this number.
Timo, what?
I shouldn't be calling you, but that pattern you found between the Baltic attacks and the Taiwan ones, you're onto something bigger than you know.
She leans forward, lowering her voice.
I've mapped every incident from the beginning. China started around Taiwan in 2018, and it took Russia another 5 years to start cutting cables in the Baltic. But here's what's strange. Now Chinese ships are showing up in Russian waters. Are they working together?
That's what everyone assumed initially, but keep looking at the timeline. You'll see the truth.
Anna traces the timeline for the 500th time.
Russia's cable cutting starts right after China's success. They're not working together, are they?
They're competing. China developed it first. Then Russia saw its potential and jumped in. Now they're both racing to perfect their weapons. NATO's assessment matches yours exactly. And it's accelerating. Russian military escorts just started protecting boats in their Shadow Fleet.
Anna's stomach drops.
The Shadow Fleet? Why is Russia giving public military protection for rogue oil tankers they just denied even existed a few weeks ago?
Because these ghost ships have found a much more dangerous side business, dragging anchors across cables for Russia and China, using civilian boats as weapons. And if one gets caught, Moscow can simply claim they're just a rogue commercial ship, with no connection to the Kremlin.
Anna starts to feel sick.
And NATO can't touch civilian ships
without starting a war, which is why I'm risking my career with this call. Someone needs to document what's happening. Now, make sure Emma is keeping her paper charts updated. It might save her life if her ship's connection gets cut off.
Timo, you're scaring me.
Good. You should be scared. This isn't about cables anymore. It's about who controls information flow in the next war.
The line goes dead. Anna stares at all of the evidence on her screen.
Of course they're competing. This explains everything. But why publish at all?
Then it hits her. You show what you want your competitors to see and keep the best secrets to yourself.
They published the mechanical design after developing electric ones. Gave Russia the blueprint for the crude tools while keeping their own advanced ones secret.
Suddenly, another thought runs wild in her mind.
But there's more to it. By publishing these patents, they're also sending a message to the rest of the world. We have this capability. We can cut you off whenever we want.
She remembers the concept of deterrence from her Navy days. Show enough strength to prevent conflict and let enemies know what you can do, so they think twice before crossing you.
They want us to know they can flip the switch. That's the real weapon. Not the cables they've cut, but the fear of the ones they haven't.
She pulls up the new polar bear case again. The ship has a Chinese captain, a flag from Hong Kong, and it started its trip in a Russian port carrying oil.
No one knows if it's a Russian operation with a Chinese crew, or Chinese officials helping the Russian Shadow Fleet. The perfect way to create confusion and prove either way.
Anna goes back to check her phone, but already knows who it is.
Anna, you missed our call, yet again. What's going on with you?
She looks at the time. It's Sunday evening. She's forgotten their weekly video call for the 3rd week in a row.
Sorry, work thing. I'll explain soon.
Is this about the cable thing again? You're starting to sound paranoid.
If Emma only knew, she would be paranoid too. Her sister sails over these cables every single day. Unaware, she's crossing a battlefield where 2 superpowers are secretly testing weapons. Anna returns to her timeline while the patterns stare her in the face. What started as a rare accident every few months in 2023 quickly turned into monthly events by 2024, and now weekly activity in 2025, with escalations including military escorts for these ships.
They're not even trying to hide it now. The practice runs are over.
Anna starts recording.
We're facing two enemies, both racing to control the ultimate strategic high ground, global information flow. The first to perfect this method wins the next war without firing a shot. Cut the cables, control the narrative, cripple response coordination.
Outside the cafe, Anna watches some drunk college kids stumbling out of a pub while singing songs as they make their way home, oblivious to the secret war that is starting right under their feet.
We're watching them build a weapon we can't defend against. But seeing it coming and stopping it are two very different things.
Anna hasn't left her apartment in days. It's starting to look like a crime scene and smell like a stale cup of noodles. She stands in the center of it all, surrounded by her obsession, staring at the web of connections that she's uncovered. Anna's arranged meetings with everyone she can think of: military contacts, tech experts, anyone who might listen. Most don't return her calls, and the ones who do speak in careful, measured tones. It's not that simple, they all say. But this morning is different. She finally gets a call back that matters. James Morrison, an American Pentagon consultant she knew from her joint NATO exercises with Timo. He reluctantly agrees to a video call.
Anna? Geez, you look terrible.
Thanks. Are you secure?
As secure as anyone can be these days. Timo showed me your work. You're not wrong.
So why isn't anyone doing anything?
Morrison laughs, but there's no humor in his voice.
Do what exactly? Board every Chinese vessel? Arrest every Russian shadow fleet captain? Let me paint you a picture. Right now, we're tracking 52 suspicious vessels around Taiwan, another 38 in the Baltic. And that's just today. You want us to put a warship on each one?
Anna stares at the clustered dots on the screen.
We don't have that many ships.
Bingo! And even if we did, what then? They're commercial vessels in international waters. The second we board one, it's an act of war.
But they're building a weapon to attack us.
Allegedly. Accidentally. Plausible deniability, remember? You want to know the real problem? Do you know what happens if we sink a civilian ship in international waters? We become the bad guys to the rest of the world and potentially start the end of the world, even if we're right.
After the call, Anna sits in her dark apartment. Every angle she explores leads to the same conclusion. There's no good response, no way to defend without escalating, and no way to stop it without potentially starting a war. Her laptop chimes. It's an unexpected email from Lars Anderson, the CEO for one of the biggest logistics and shipping insurance companies in the world.
Miss Sundin, I heard about your investigation. We need to talk.
An hour later, they're on a conference call.
We've stopped insuring cable-laying ships on certain routes. The risk is too high.
Since when?
Quietly over the last 3 months. But publicly, we can't admit it. It would crash the market.
Anna feels the walls closing in.
So the insurance industry knows this is intentional.
We're not idiots. Anchor accidents don't follow statistical patterns. But knowing and proving are different things.
She stares at her wall of evidence. Everyone knows. Military, insurance, tech companies, they all see what's happening. And they're all paralyzed. As she thinks about what she's learned, Matsu Island going offline for 50 days, where banking stopped, businesses collapsed, and doctor visits were nearly impossible to get, and that was just 14,000 people on an isolated island. Stockholm has 2 million people, and the world over 8 billion, all dependent on these underground cables for everything. Money, medicine, food, power, all of it is connected.
It's not the dark ages of communication. It's going to be the dark ages, period.
She thinks of Emma's last message. Her ship navigates by GPS routed through shore connections, while port systems guide ships to make it home safely. Without these cables, Emma would be sailing blind into ports that can't see her coming.
Anna, I'm really worried. No one's heard from you in days.
Anna looks around at the chaos in her apartment. She types,
I'm fine, just busy.
You keep saying that. We used to talk all the time. Now you're a ghost.
ghost. That's what she's become. Haunting this apartment, chasing shadows while the real world moves on, not knowing that they're sitting on a ticking time bomb. Anna moves to her window. The city glows in the evening light. She can see people heading home through rush hour traffic, everyone laughing and smiling, checking their phones, sending messages through cables that are more vulnerable than anyone is willing to admit. She thinks about the acceleration. More incidents are happening every single week. Military escorts have already been deployed for these civilian ships. She knows it's only a matter of time now. So she starts recording once again.
They have created a perfect trap. They attack us with civilian ships. If we respond with force, we're the aggressors. If we don't respond, they keep cutting. By the time we're justified in acting, it'll be too late.
As Anna looks around at the red strings and pinned evidence covering every wall, finally understanding what it all means.
I've documented everything, proved the pattern, identified the weapons, and none of it matters, because there's nothing we can do.
She thinks about calling Emma back, warning her properly. But what would she say?
The first to cut the cables wins the next war. Not with missiles, but by returning us to the darkness.
And in that exact moment, her screen flickers and turns black. The war has just begun.